A huge amount of research and data that shows a strong connection between power and career success. Can you share a little more about the different types of research that you've come across?
Well, there is, in fact, a lot of research. Gerald Ferris and his colleagues developed some years ago some very validated measures of power in the four dimensions of power. And then they've studied the effect of power, both longitudinally and cross-sectionally, on people's careers ranging. And many of the measures are, of course, related to each other. So promotions would be related to salary, and if you get promoted and make more money, you're more likely to have higher levels of life satisfaction and career satisfaction and job satisfaction. So the research on the effect of power on career success is, I find, pretty compelling.
It's also linked to health and happiness, which when I read, I thought maybe a little bit unusual, but when you reflect on it, it seems to make sense. Where does that come from? Is it just people feeling better about themselves? Or as you mentioned, that if you've got the power, it may be correlated to income and stuff like that?
Well, I think that's a piece of it. You're more likely to be happy and satisfied to the extent that you have power. But I think Sir Michael Marmot, the British epidemiologist, many years ago, when he did the famous Whitehall studies of British civil servants, found that the civil servants, the higher your rank in the British civil service, the healthier you were, the less you were at risk for having cardiovascular disease, and having either mortality or morbidity from cardiovascular disease. And when he and his colleagues looked into this, the key underlying concept was job control. The higher you were, the more power you had, the more control you had over your work environment. And the more control you had over your work environment, the more you were able to determine the time at which you worked and how you did your work, the less stressful that was. And stress, of course, is related to ill health. So it is true that the more power you have, the healthier you're going to be.